So here in DC Superior, I take predominantly two types of cases. I work with family law cases and eviction defense predominantly. I've done both repairs cases and eviction defense on that side, and then on the family law side, it's predominantly child custody and child support. What keeps me coming back to local pro bono? Well, I live in the community, that's first and foremost. So I've been in a bunch of different neighborhoods here in the city while I've lived here, and it's important for me to be able to tap into that. I also just think that it's a great way to get to know your community, particularly areas of the community that you wouldn't otherwise spend time or that you don't know or don't live in. So it's very impactful for me to be able to drive past a property 7 blocks away from where I live and say, wow, okay, that was the mom that I kept in that house, right? Or I was able to contribute to a resolution for this family, and that is unbelievably powerful. The client that sticks most with me is probably the first pro bono case I ever took. I came on as an attorney at Blank Rome in January of 2021, height of the pandemic. And so what I was able to do was take an eviction defense case at a time when there was an eviction moratorium. I think the relief of not having a pending eviction case is, I mean, it's hard to explain how impactful that is on someone's psychology. And the weight that it puts on both her and anyone in the house is unbelievable. So that she's been out of court for 2.5 years now has been a huge boon. She's been able to pick up work and do a lot of other things that I think the stresses of an eviction, especially during a pandemic when she wasn't sure whether she would find work, is a remarkable change. And so now we're sort of thinking about, when she calls me, it's much more optimistic, it's much more upbeat. How do I find a new place to live? I'm looking at, now that I'm making more money, looking at doing something else. And that has, I think, been the most rewarding piece of it, right? It's not just getting the eviction dismissed, it's actually seeing meaningful impact for her long term. To junior colleagues, I would say there's no better way to inculcate a practice of giving back than at the earliest stage in your career. It's so beneficial to get time before judges, to draft motions, to draft answers, responses. There are all sorts of motions, court time, and client time, frankly, that you wouldn't necessarily otherwise get in working a sort of a traditional case for a Fortune 500 company, say, right? Where you're just grinding through document review. This is hands-on, and you have total control, really, with your mentors of the strategic direction of a case. You have the ability to develop the facts. You have the ability to do site visits in the case of a housing conditions case, where you might be the one who leads the charge in terms of developing the body of evidence. So the ways that you can get involved are just virtually limitless, and I think that that's unbelievably rewarding to bring that level of diversity into your practice.